out with y'all, talk to y'all about some topics, and just go over some of the stuff that people wanted me to talk about. This next video is highly requested. I got so many DMs, and we're gonna talk about it right now. So there's been a lot going on with parents and buses. Okay, there has been a lot of parents getting into it with the kids on the bus. Now, last year, I don't think I made a dedicated video about it, but I briefly talked to y'all and I told y'all about, it was a story where a mom got mad that these girls was basically bullying her daughter, and they beat up her daughter, and she was mad about it. She got on the bus, and when she got on the bus, she basically confronted the kids. She cursed the kids out, and the kids on the bus beat up the mom and the daughter. The mom and the daughter got beat up by the kids on the bus. Now, the kids on the bus were, I want to say, like 11, 12, 13. They were very young, and the mom and the daughter both got yoked up and beat up. That was last year that I talked about that briefly in a video, but I didn't make a dedicated video about it. Now, there was also another incident with a bus where there was a teenager who, I guess she got mad and she was upset. And it happened, I want to say, like last week, where she got into it with some people on the bus, and she got off the bus. And when she got off the bus, she was like waving the gun around and like, you know, threatening the kids, like she would shoot them and stuff like that. Her mom then took to social media and she was basically co-signing it, like, you know, on some leave my child alone, too bad, so sad type stuff. And I believe the mom and the daughter ended up getting arrested. The first story that I told y'all about, I think the mom and the daughter ended up getting arrested too. Well, now that leads us to this new video that is highly requested, and this is of a father who is angry because he is alleging that the kids on the bus is bullying his daughter. Now, when you look at the video, his daughter seems to be very aggressive. She don't look like ain't nobody bullied her a day in her life. Not to say that they didn't pick on her, not to say she ain't at her breaking point. I don't know. But she looked bad as hell. Okay. And the kids was basically trying to tell the dad, your daughter is the one who started the mess. Your daughter is the one who did all of this. So I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to show y'all. All right, so hold on.
Did you touch my daughter? Did you touch my daughter again? You gonna have to get your mama, your daddy, your uncle, and
So the alleged victim, the bullied child, is the child that's hopping over the seats saying that the other girl was scary. So how is she scary if you the one supposed to be the victim? What? I looked at this and I'm like, so you bullied, but you telling her that she's scary. And the daddy is cursing out the kids, telling them, B, you put your hands on my child, woo, 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 woo. Now, I'm going to play a little bit more, but I'm going to give y'all my opinion because I think I seen somebody in the comments who said, what is my opinion on it? My opinion is go directly to the mama. Okay? My opinion, go directly to the mama. If somebody do something to my child, I'm not going to address the child. When I address the child, they're going to be standing next to their mama, and I'm going to be addressing the child directly and the parent directly. I'm not going to address a bus. I'm not going to address a class. I'm going to address a child and their parent. Your child put their hands on my daughter, and I would like for her or whoever not to put their hands on my child. And if you could handle that, I greatly appreciate it. That's how I would handle it. Now, if the parent won't smoke and they don't check the situation, or if the situation keeps happening, then I'm going to have an issue with the parent, and then I might say something to the child. That's kind of how I would handle it. I'm going to address the parent first. So I had a situation with my child. And my child, it was the opposite end. A parent came up to me. And so she didn't come up to me disrespectful. She didn't come up to me with no smoke or anything like that. But she handled it how a parent should handle a situation. So I go up to the school. I go to pick my daughter up from the school. And when I go pick up my daughter from the school, my back was turned, and the girl, she kind of tapped me. She was like, hey, can I speak to you? And I looked, and I'm like, trying to figure out like what she wanted or whatever. And she said, hey, I'm not sure if you're aware, but your daughter and my daughter was on the playground. And I think my daughter was like in kindergarten. This was like kindergarten. She was like, your daughter and my daughter was on the playground, and my daughter told me that your daughter pulled her hair. So I looked at my daughter and I said, did you pull her hair? And so my daughter told me, yes, I did pull her hair. So I told the mom, I said, okay, I'll speak to my child about it, and I'll make sure to handle the matter. She won't, that won't happen again, So I get my daughter in the car. I have a conversation with my daughter, and I tell her, don't just go putting her hands on people. She won't like if a person pulled her hair, so don't go around pulling people's hair. That's not cute. That's not nice. We have smoke for people who have smoke for us. We don't go causing trouble, And that was that. That was the end of it. My daughter never had no issues with the little girl, and that was it. It got nipped in the bud. But, had the mom come up to me and she been disrespectful about it, then I would have still addressed my child, but I would have handled it accordingly. But I feel like you need to address the parent first, because sometimes these parents don't even know what their kids is doing. Had that lady never come up to me and told me that my daughter done pulled the girl hair, I would have never thought that my child was at school and done pulled somebody's hair. Because my child is not, from my knowledge, at that point, a child that's out there trying to like cause fights and do stuff like that. So I'm thinking like, I wouldn't think that would have been my child's behavior. You know what I'm saying? Just like when I was in school, I had a blow up where, I ain't never cursed at home. My mama didn't never hear me curse at home. But one time a teacher had me all the way messed up, and I cursed her out, call her all kind of this, that, be this, be that, boop, 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 boop. And she told my mama. And my mom, like, what? Like, she was so, like, flabbergasted because she had no idea that when you take your kid to school, that they sometimes act differently than what they act in your presence. So I say all that to say, first course of action should be with the parents, okay? If you try to rectify a situation, talk to the parents first. Now, if you get some ghetto, ignorant parents that ain't trying to hear it, because, and there are the parents that you will come across where little Timmy will do no wrong, even though his bad ass is in the office every single day. He always got issues, always getting suspended. You still got the parents who still will pop off and coddle their children and not hold them accountable. So going to the parents, you still have to understand that how you was raised might not be how they was raised. So if you want to address a parent, you want to be able to Understand that it can be smoke that come behind it, and be ready for what's smoke. Because if it's about your child, you're going to handle it what's about your child, period. But just know that there are some ignorant people, and, you know, that's just how it is. But I feel like if anybody is bees this and bees that, it should be addressed with the parents first. So anyways, let me play some more.
Bitch, you touch my daughter. Bitch, you touch my daughter again. You gonna have to get your mama, your daddy, your uncle, and
Get your scared ass up! You scared, huh?
Have you recorded?
I go from love.
She touched her! She touched her! She touched her! She touched her!
All right. So the little girl was telling her, like, she touched her. Like, she's the one who touched her. Like, what are you talking about? She touched her. So let me show the other video.
You shouldn't have touched me yesterday.
I didn't touch her!
I'm gonna flip this whole bus. Everybody on it. And I mean that. They go for everybody on her. Touch my daughter again. And I'm gonna flip this whole bus. I'm not playing. You don't let nobody touch my kids, bro. I'm not playing, bro. All that bully shit. All that big bully shit. Y'all got going on. I'm not playing. You might get.
All right. So that's the father. And he said all that big bully-ish that y'all got going on, he's not playing. Now, as a parent, I'm a step for my child, period. I got all the smoke for anybody who do any wrong to my child, period. But I feel like the anger should be directed to the parents, period. I feel like, you know, he was doing too much. You know, I feel like as a mom, as a father, be your parent, be your child's protector. Know that you're going to step, let them be aware that you're going to step for them, but make sure you step in correctly for them, you know? So the father has something to say, and this is what he had to say. I don't know if he's trying to be an aspiring rapper or whatever, but this is what he had to say in response on his social media. He said, MFers really want to keep saying I'm wrong, but it's okay for an MFer to jump my daughter and send her home with knots on her head. F out of here, EMD. And he said, and I most definitely meant what I said. MFers only get mad when they get a reaction out of MFer, but it's okay for an MFer to jump my daughter. Eat my... Okay. And then this person says, first of all, his daughter slapped my daughter days before this incident. I called the school and informed the school. I also went to the bus stop and talked with the bus driver. His child got a referral, and the driver said she's the problem. His daughter continued to say threatening things to my daughter and my 6-year-old grandbabies. Now she's had another fight with another student that leads to this on Friday. Know your facts, because he had no idea his child got a referral from Jump Street. Okay. So this is also what he had to say.
And apologize to everybody that I offended, all the kids and parents. I want to apologize to JCPS. I want to apologize to the school bus driver also, because at the end of the day, I did act out of character. So I do take responsibility for that in my actions. My child was being bullied since last year. School been notified, parent been notified. Nobody's done nothing about it. Beginning of the school year, 3 days in, my child's getting bullied again.
This year?
Yes.
Okay.
Getting bullied again by the same person. Try to handle it with the school again and the parent. Nobody does nothing. Then next thing you know, my daughter, she gets jumped on the school bus and end up with a knot on her head. That was the last straw. I could have said different things, but I let my emotions, I wanted to clear up, passion and anger get the best of me.
All right. As a parent, we also got to understand the difference from what's a bully and what's not. You know what I'm saying? I had to teach my child this lesson as well. And when you're a parent, you're teaching your kids all the time. And as a parent, you have to be able to decipher, is my child the problem or is other children the problem? Sometimes what y'all classify as bullying ain't bullying. Sometimes what y'all classify as bullying is a reaction from behavior that your child has did. Now, y'all know that, you know, I'm accountable. I hold my child accountable, things like this. So I'm going to give y'all a scenario. Again, this is another scenario when my daughter was like, she was in kindergarten too. This was when she was young, you know, and, you know, she's 9 now. So I teach her still daily. I'm going to still be teaching her for the rest of my life, period. But she came home one time and she was like, the kids was bullying me on the slide. And I said, who was bullying you on the slide? Like, what were they doing? She said, I was sitting at the top of the slide and they kept rushing me and trying to bully me and telling me to go down. So I'm like, so when you went up at the top of the slide, did you go up and then when it was your turn, slide down? Or did you go up and then was your turn, you sat there? She was like, well, I was sitting there for a while. And so I was like, well, baby, that's not really bullying. You know, everybody is anxious to go down the slide. So if you go to the top of the slide, you got somebody behind you and you're just sitting there, the kids are going to want you to go down. You know, I'm like, so I really wouldn't classify that like they bullied you. They just probably, you know, were verbal in what they wanted you to go down. But as long as they didn't put their hands on you or anything like that and it didn't continue off of the slide, then I wouldn't consider that bullying. I was like, did they say anything to you on the playground? Like when you were off the slide, did anybody come up to you? Did they say anything? She's like, you know, no, they just was trying to make me hurry up and go down the slide. So I was like, okay, you know, so we kind of have to determine and use our discernment. Like, is it a situation to where, and if his daughter is coming with knots, then that's clearly, I'm not to that level. My child hasn't got into a physical fight with anybody, like where they're like punching each other. So I haven't experienced that yet. But as we go up to school, you know, I guess I will have more, you know, to tell y'all as time comes. But for right now, just looking at the clip of his daughter, not to say that the other little girls were innocent and they were right, but I feel like it's issues on both sides. I feel like the daughter bucking up and they probably was bucking up too. You know, I feel like they both was, you know, on some you know, like both of them on both sides trying to be on some grown, you know, and you know, being kids. Like, we all been kids before. We all done talk ish to people that we went to school with. I don't like her, this and that, you know, different like little kid stuff. So it's important for us to investigate. That's what I'm trying to get to. Investigate as thoroughly as you can. Now, I don't go for nobody putting their hands on my child, period. Don't put your hands in my child's face. Don't put your hands on my child. Don't raise your voice. You know, don't do it. I'm her mama, okay? But we still have to get the full story before we react. I feel like that's important. Getting the full story from A to Z. What happened? How did it start? Who did it start with? Who said what to what? What was it over? You know, and go from there. But that's my thoughts on that one. That one was highly requested. A lot of people